In this video, I want to talk about 4 big trends that I'm seeing right now in 2025 for email and retention marketing. If you run an e-commerce brand, you're going to want to pay attention to these. So let's get into it right now. The first trend is plain text emails are making a comeback, or maybe they never left in the first place. What I'm seeing right now is a lot of big e-commerce brands that typically make big, beautiful designed emails with lots of graphics, obviously are mixing in plain text or text-based style emails. And there's a few reasons for that. The first reason is that plain text emails are much more likely to inbox and not go to spam. Gmail, Yahoo, inbox providers like that, when they see an email show up that's all images and no text, it's hard for them to scan and understand what's actually showing in that email. So there's a much higher chance that it's going to go to spam. Another aspect that someone told me who works at an email deliverability agency is that when you send an email that's all image, it's a lot bigger file. And when that email shows up, Gmail or Yahoo, they have to store that email, right? They have to keep it in your inbox for a certain amount of time, which means they have to spend more on hard drive space for you to keep that there. So instead of putting it in your inbox, it's actually a little bit more convenient for them to put it into the spam folder, where in 30 days it's automatically going to delete anyways. So that's another kind of insider reason why those image-based emails sometimes can be going to spam more likely than not. So for plain text emails, it's better because it's all text and there's maybe one link, maybe one image. And there's another reason for this too. Psychologically, when someone gets an email that's beautiful designed, it kind of looks like a poster, their instinct is to automatically say, this is an advertisement, and they kind of turn into advertisement mode. So they're going to scan through it really quickly, maybe delete it, move on to the next email. When it comes to plain text, it looks like an email that maybe someone sent from one person to another person, and it's much more likely that the people are going to stop, read through it, and actually understand the message that you're talking about. And I know there's a lot of debate about attention spans and short emails and things like that. You can still use a plain text email and keep it 150, 200 words. That's a good sweet spot. And people are going to stop and read that message. Now, I've run these tests head to head, plain text versus designed emails all the time for clients. And almost every single time, the plain text email wins for click rate and for revenue. So I've run these split tests multiple times, and almost every single time, a plain text email is going to beat out the designed email. And that comes down to click rate and placed order rate as well. It's usually much better coming from that plain text email than a designed email. And I've seen that more with big brands now, occasionally mixing in plain text emails alongside their designed emails too. So if you have a very important message that you want people to stop and read, even for a sale or something like that, it's kind of like a nice pattern interrupt for someone to open your email and then see a lot of text sitting there. Format the text nice so it's not hard to read, but they see the text and it makes them stop for a moment and have to read the message and actually process what's going on inside that. Trend number 2, direct mail is making a comeback. It's kind of like the new old school channel that everyone kind of forgot about, but it's a very effective channel. Now, what's happening is with email and SMS, there's a lot of noise in people's inboxes on their phones. People are constantly being bombarded by these messages, so it's very easy for people to just tune that out and delete or ignore the message. Now, what's not as common is for people to send postcards or an actual handwritten note to your physical mailbox, which, right out front of your house here. And that's kind of prime opportunity, because who's actually showing up in those mailboxes? It's banks, credit cards. There's a lot of junk mail coming through that's really not relevant. They just buy a list, they blast it to a whole bunch of people in one area. Now, what you can do as an e-commerce brand is be very strategic about your direct mail campaigns. And what I've found to work very well for my clients are win-back campaigns. So taking people who haven't placed an order from 90 days to a year, and they've unsubscribed from emails, or they haven't opened or clicked any of your emails, they've unsubscribed from SMS. So you really don't have a way to get in touch with them. But what you can do instead is send them a postcard with a special offer right to their mailbox, and they're going to get it. They're going to see it. They convert very well. I've had anywhere from a 5 to 10x ROAS, return on ad spend, and there's a great channel to do. So don't sleep on direct mail. It's alive and well, and most people are not using it at all, but it's going to change in 2025 as a lot more brands see that this is a great channel and a great way to get your message seen by people who might be ignoring your emails anyways. So the third trend I'm seeing right now in 2025 are analytic tools are kind of leveling up retention strategy. And what I mean by that is you really can't just be getting all of your analytics from the platform. So Klaviyo, whatever it is that you're using. A lot of clients now really want to go kind of that next step to understand retention and lifecycle marketing. So you need to use a tool like Retention X or Triple Whale to actually go a little bit deeper and see what's going on. And I'm talking about repeat purchase rates, lifetime value, which products are driving the most AOV or things like this. So you need to go a little bit deeper than what you're getting just from email revenue, SMS revenue, open rates, click rates. Those are helpful to pay attention to and look at, but if you're trying to go the next step, you really need to be using these tools to get a deeper understanding. And what I'm seeing for my own clients is they want to understand, all right, how many customers are making that first purchase, second purchase, third purchase, fourth purchase, and where they're dropping off. So is it from purchase 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4? And it's very hard to do this just inside Klaviyo. Another reason this is trending is you've seen Klaviyo, I know Yotpo, there's a lot of platforms making a push to bring and create their own deeper analytics inside the platform. So it's also becoming apparent to these big companies that this is what people need to see in order to make those informed decisions. And again, a lot of my clients, we want to know, all right, if the drop off is happening at that second purchase, what can we do to get people from purchase number 2 to purchase number 3? Because we can see percentage wise, maybe only 30% of people make a repeat purchase after purchase 2. But when we get to purchase 3 and beyond, it goes up to 60%. So you know that if I can just get someone over that hump from the second purchase to the third purchase or whatever it might be, that they're much more likely to stick around. And that's ultimately the goal when it comes to retention marketing, is understanding how we get people to come back and keep making those purchases, and then what to do, like where's that danger area where someone's about to churn, and what can we do to bring them back, whether it's an email campaign, SMS, or like we talked about in the other trend, direct mail campaign is perfect for win back. So having all that put together with the big picture strategy and deeper reporting analytics is much more in demand and basically required if you're trying to do email marketing or retention marketing in 2025. So our fourth and final trend in 2025 is using open-ended surveys, and then of course using AI to analyze those surveys and turn that into basically marketing gold. What I've done a lot for clients now is create surveys that, instead of just asking people like the traditional boring surveys where you send someone a survey and you just ask like 5 questions, multiple choice, they can click things and you can just kind of analyze it like that. We're moving away from that and really just sending people surveys and asking them a question like, how are you using this product in your life? Are there any things we could do to improve? What are any products, like new products you'd like to see? So asking very open-ended questions and getting people to input that data and write it themselves so you can then take it and analyze it. Now you can take that data, I set this up for a client, and within 2 weeks we had 3,000 of these surveys that were coming back, and that's very hard for you to analyze by yourself. Of course, I like to go through it manually and just kind of read to get a very high level understanding. But the next step that I do is take all that survey data and dump it into an AI tool like ChatGPT or Claude, and then use that to come up with very high level understandings of what customers are saying. So you can bucket those into big trends and actually understand what's going on, what products people want, objections people have to buy, and things like that. One way that I've used this very effectively with my client is we set up very strategic surveys. So one for people that have joined our email list but haven't purchased in a certain time frame after their first purchase, people who've made a purchase but haven't bought in a certain time frame as well, so they're likely to churn, and just trying to understand why they aren't coming back, what are they buying, how are they using this product. And you can really get some actual marketing gold from this, because people are going to tell you in their own words what they like, what they don't like, what they want to see, and then you can use AI, of course, to help summarize that, turn that into a nice document. So you can use that document to inform your marketing decisions, to help adjust your copywriting and your email campaigns as well. So once you take all that survey, you dump it into AI, you can ask it some questions, what are big trends that you see? What are common objections? You can then take that document and use it and ask it to help you come up with marketing angles, hooks, campaign ideas, things like that. So once I got that survey information, we were able to go back in and understand that, a big reason a lot of people aren't making that second purchase is because they have too much product. And one of our flagship offers is bringing people in with a bundle or starter pack. So we understood that, okay, maybe we need to adjust that initial offer, or we need to adjust our win back window to be a little bit longer to give people time to use the product and make sure that they want to come back. So those are the kind of insights that you're going to get when you ask people and get that zero-party data that's so valuable. If you're having trouble implementing these, or you're not feeling confident in doing it yourself, reach out. I'd love to talk with you and see if we could work together, or I could help you. Click here to watch the next video. Otherwise, you can reach out if you need help implementing anything that I've talked about here before. I'd love to help you and make 2025 your best year yet when it comes to email and retention marketing. Catch you next time.